Starting from the top left of the chat is the name of the current domain. Next to that, you'll see a gray heart. If you click on that, it will fill with red. That means that you're now following this domain. So anytime somebody creates content or participates in content in this domain, you'll be notified. You can keep that checked or unchecked depending on how you feel about the current domain that you're on. Moving towards the middle top, there's a button here that's very important. It is a checkbox that says user agrees to observe all applicable laws. When you check that, on the right hand side, two new boxes will open up. Record multiple shouts, which is a continuous stream where we will turn everything that you say into text, which is then inserted into the chat. And next to that is join video conference, where if you and a friend that's in the current conversation have a web camera, you can see each other visually. When we go to the right-hand top side of the chat, we've got an up arrow. That arrow is going to take you to the next domain in our network. There's a down arrow. That arrow is going to take you to the previous domain in our network. There is a sideways pointing left arrow. That is going to take you to the next conversation in the network, or on this current domain. And there is a arrow that is pointing right. That will take you to the next conversation on the current domain. Next to that is a white and green box, which allows you to add a new column, and we'll be talking more about that later. So when we go down a line from the top on the left again, you'll see the current conversation here as demo, and then we've got some buttons next to that. The first is a thumbs up. So that means if you click on that button, it will fill with green, and that means that you like this conversation. And we keep track of how many likes each conversation has. It's a way of sort of saying that you like something without having to really participate. Next to that is say something in this conversation. So this is just a shout box that's going to open up here. You can also include files like images, and here's a test one. Just type in there, send your shout, and it shows up on the top. If you want to edit your shout, the next button with the pencil is what you click on. Edit demo to say demo 2, save, and it's actually edited the current conversation to say demo 2 now. A heart again means that you're following this particular conversation, so if anybody adds more content to demo 2 now, you will be notified. Next to that is the share button. If you click on that, you can actually copy the link to the clipboard so that you can share this link with your friends and family. And next to that is the start a new conversation button. So if you want to create a new conversation, you are welcome to do so just by clicking this button, typing in the title. You can also put an image URL and a URL to an external website that you'd like to discuss, which will create sort of a shortened version of that article. But those are not required. We'll talk more about this a little bit later. If you go towards the right-hand side, we're going to go back to some of those buttons that we saw before. But the first one here is keyboard entry. So if you click that, you can type in your shout and say hello. You've also got a couple of other options for modifying your text in this box here. Next to that is a button to record a single audio shout. So this is actually really interesting. You just click this blue record button when you're done, click stop and shout, and it will include what you have said. I'll do an example now. This is a test shout, and that popped up right here. Next to that are the buttons that we talked about before. Record multiple shouts and join video conference. And then if you'd like to hear other people's shouts, click the button on the furthest to the right. This will audibly announce all of the shouts that come from others within your current conversation. If we continue down, there's a keywords button. You can type in any keyword and it'll search across the network. So I'll type in dog, and it's searching the network now for conversations that have dog in it, and it pops it up here in a green box. underneath all of the conversations and shouts related to dogs, so we're going to exit out of there. Next to that is the pause button or unpause button. So frequently there will be lots of shouters in a room, and if you want to catch up, just click that pause button. You can read, unpause it, and then continue. Moving down from there is the Conversation Navigator, which has several different important things as well. You can also search by keywords within the Conversation Navigator. So search for the keyword dog, and it'll search for conversations that include that. We offer several other options for searching around the network and domains. So these tabs that are underneath the Conversation Network, domain is the current domain. Network is conversations from across our network. Visited are conversations that we visited before. Trending and popular are conversations that have more content or more likes. Private conversations will show privates that you have with people, and then follows will be conversations that you have clicked a heart next to, one of those red follow buttons. We also provide a list of active users. Underneath that, active conversations, we allow you to start a new conversation underneath the chat button here, and it's just like the one at the top. You can also change your domain by typing underneath that, and then we've got domain conversation summaries, where different conversations throughout the domain will have summaries if you've included an outbound link that we've summarized. Moving on down, we've got the settings button, 1-column chat, 2-column chat, 3-column chat, and then a green help button. Underneath those, we've got the patent information, and we'll be talking more about these different sections in future videos.